Welcome into White House Field on a brisk Saturday evening here in Harwich, Massachusetts. We are just about set for Game 31 of the 2022 CCBL season. Tonight, it will be the Harwich Mariners playing host to the Cotuit Kettleers. This will be the final battle between the two clubs this year, with Harwich taking 5 of a possible 6 points so far this season. Hi everybody and welcome into Al Graber Press Box. My name is Devin Dobek and I am joined as always by my partner Tim Foley. Tim, it has been a bumpy road for both squads as of late. With almost no consistency on offense, what is going to be the X factor that will help one team to prevail here late in the season?
Well, I think the biggest thing for Harwich is that you're not playing Orleans. It's been a struggle against the Firebirds this season, and you're facing off against a Cotuit team that's not the same Cotuit team that once was at the beginning of the season that opened up the year 9-0-0. This is a Cotuit team that since the calendar has flipped over to the month of July, their ERA has shot up from 174 to 545. WHIP's gone up from about 1 to about 1.5. The Cotuit's pitching staff as a whole has struggled a lot as of late. The Harwich Bats, again, whenever they're not facing off against Orleans, have been hitting well these past few games, and so they're just going to have to get back what they've had the stretch prior to running into Orleans 2 out of the past 3 nights.
With that being said, let's take a quick look at the Cotuit Kettleers starting 9 for Coach Mike Roberts. Leading off, the shortstop Tommy Troy, batting second, the left fielder Carter Trice, batting third, the designated hitter CJ Kafis, batting cleanup the first baseman Tyler Johnson, batting fifth, the third baseman Trotter Harlan, batting sixth, the center fielder Eddie Park, batting seventh, the catcher Calvin Harris, batting eighth, the right fielder Josh Pearson, and rounding out the top 9 at second base is Colby Wilkerson. Troy fouls off the first pitch from tonight's starter Liam Sullivan, out of the University of Georgia, from Sandy Springs, Georgia. Went to Marist High School, rising junior for the Bulldogs, 6'6", 245 pounds. Ball goes up high there. This season, Sullivan with a record of 2-0, an ERA of 2.50 across now his 6th game. He's made 3 starts. No saves across 18 innings pitched, as this one is lined down the line in left field, all the way to the wall, rounding first and going into second. No problem is Troy. He'll be held up there with a stand-up double, and nobody down.
Just the way you want to start things off if you're Cotuit. Get it rolling from the leadoff spot. That's such a huge spot to be able to get your afternoon off on the right foot. Cotuit's had a lot of success this season from the leadoff spot, batting .274, so no surprise they're able to find a way to get on early in the game.
More on Sullivan, 30 strikeouts to just 5 walks, a 6-to-1 ratio. He's been excellent in that respect. That's a ball club high, 30 strikeouts. Had 10 against Wareham on the doubleheader all the way back on June 26th. That was a lights-out performance. As first pitch now to Carter Trice is swung on and missed, off speed at 78 miles an hour for strike 1.
Yeah, he's just going to be a strikeout kind of guy. That's what his MO's been all season long. He really listens when this coaching staff says to throw first pitch strikes and try to retire guys on 3 pitches or less.
This one comes up and in for ball 1. We'll see a fastball, slider, and changeup from Liam Sullivan. He's been very effective. Did in his last outing, unfortunately, did not get to go as long as he probably would have liked. I believe just 2 2/3. Yes, it was 2 2/3 through 70 pitches, allowed 3 earned runs, and walked 4. Those numbers we don't see too much. 4 of his 5 walks came in that last outing. It was just not an efficient one as he falls behind in the count here, 2-1. We'll see if he can bounce back today. A lot of confidence in him.
Yeah, you know, getting a chance to face off against the same team twice. Oftentimes that can favor hitters whenever they get a look at the same pitcher twice. But, you know, Sullivan's a competitor. He's going to want to get another look at these guys.
Count is 2-1. And for Cotuit, they are 2-6-3 in their last 10 games. They started the season 9-0-1, but ever since they played Harwich back on June 24th, 7-9-4. So they have really been sloping downward. And a lot of that is due to all the incoming and outgoing guys. This is cracked out to right center field. Tommy Seidel is under it. and puts it away for out number 1. The runner holds, and wisely so, as Seidel with a cannon of an arm.
Yeah, certainly not a good idea to try to run on Seidel there. With it not being all that deep out in right field. But you mentioned, with all the departures going in and out of town, there's only 2 members of the Cotuit Kettleers who are still on this team who are in that opening day lineup. Caden Trice, alongside his teammate and Caleb Lomavita. The only 2 who are on that opening day lineup who are still with the team today. Lomavita not even in the lineup today, just Trice.
That's the Cape Cod Baseball League for you. And most notably amongst those transactions, Brooks Baldwin recently has departed from the club. He was leading the league in batting average, as this one is grounded into left field, rounding third and coming home. The throw is going to be late from Santucci. Gets by Arndt, and advancing down to second easily is Kafis. Santucci had no shot to get the runner at the plate, took way too long. So a blunder there, and it cost them 90 feet, 1-0 Kettleers.
Yeah, and Troy just continues to be on a tear here. He almost got hit by that ball as it was lined through the left side. Just jumped on the pitch. He was already trying to steal, and so as soon as the ball was hit his way, it actually, I believe, skipped right through his legs. If that had hit him, would have been out. So Harwich almost able to catch a break there, but it is a 1-0 Cotuit lead as they are very quickly looking excellent here early on.
Tyler Johnson will climb in. He leads the Cape Cod Baseball League in home runs with 6. And with that first pitch ball, we'll take a look at the Harwich defense. Jonathan Santucci's in left with Ethan O'Donnell in center. Tommy Seidel's in right. Brock Wilkin, the third baseman. Kalai Harrison, the shortstop. Nick Goodwin's at second with Joe Vetrano at first. And Brian Arndt doing the catching for Liam Sullivan. 1-0 offering is fouled back. And a little more on Baldwin. He's still, even after leaving just about a handful of days ago, is still leading the Cape Cod Baseball League in hits with 35. Also has 2 triples and a batting average of .361. He is draft eligible. Would not be shocked to see him picked up in the coming days, Tim.
Yeah, I mean, that's really going to be exciting to see who goes tomorrow in the CCBL, or pardon, no, the MLB draft. Of course, Brooks Baldwin going to be a big name people are looking at. Another Kettleer, Cam Collier, who was with the Kettleers earlier this season for about 9 games, going to be likely a top 10 draft pick. And so exciting to see. Mariners are, of course, expecting a couple of players to go in the first few rounds.
1-2 offering is grounded softly over to first. Vetrano's going to have to take it himself, and he gets there, wins the race. Down over to third goes Kafis, but there is 2 away. Close play over at first. Vetrano was able to make it in time, but Johnson's got some good speed for a first baseman, so that was much closer than perhaps Vetrano was expecting. Sullivan getting involved in the mix as well, and I think if Cotuit knew the track record that Liam Sullivan had on the base paths trying to cover first base, they would have perhaps thought twice about trying to get that close at the bag. Of course, bowled over Jack Hausinger in the doubleheader on June 26th. Picked up 10 strikeouts and practically took out a man. Squashed him. If you want to take another look at that, go check out the Harwich Mariners on TikTok. Our social media intern Courtney Robinson did a great job of capturing that moment. 0-1. Misses up high, make it 1-1.
Yeah, one of the few times I'm sure a baseball player's recorded a tackle on the play.
Trotter Harlan is now behind in the count 1-2. One of the more recent arrivals. Just 16 at-bats on the season. Made his Cape Cod Baseball League debut against the Mariners back on July 9th. That was an 11-6 Harwich win. 1-2. Up and away. So yeah, this will be the 4th and final meeting as mentioned in the pregame. Back on June 24th, Harwich eked out a 4-2 win thanks to 3 RBIs from Joe Vetrano and 6 strong innings from Sean Sullivan. July 1st, it was a 4-4 tie here at White House, and then back on July 9th, as I mentioned, an 11-6 Mariner win. 2-2, checked his swing. Did he go? Yes, says first base umpire. And that will be strike 3. First strikeout of the day for Liam Sullivan, but the Mariners surrender a run after Tommy Troy's leadoff double, and he comes around to score thanks to C.J. Kafis. We'll take a quick break and bring you the starters for the Mariners when we return. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back, Devin Dobeck, Tim Foley, and let's meet the Mariners starting lineup here for Coach Steve Engler. Leading off the second baseman, Nick Goodwin. Batting second, the center fielder, Ethan O'Donnell. Batting third, the third baseman, Brock Wilkin. Batting cleanup, the first baseman, Joe Vitrano. Batting fifth, the right fielder, Tommy Seidel. Batting sixth, the designated hitter, Hunter Stokely. Batting seventh in the left field, Jonathan Santucci. Batting eighth, the catcher, Brian Arndt. And Kalai Harrison's at short and bats ninth. Nick Goodwin will climb in. Had a 1-for-4 day yesterday, hitting a ball club high 273 amongst qualifying batters. First pitch to him misses up high for ball one. Cavaliers wearing their road maroon jerseys that say Cotuit in blue across the front with blue numerals all trimmed in white. White pants with pin stripes and blue hats with the Cotuit C. Count is 1-1 to Goodwin. Mariners, of course, in their home creams with blue writing and numbering all trimmed in red. Says Mariners across the front. Blue and red socks. And, of course, the red helmets when batting. Count is 1-2 here. Perfect Saturday night for baseball here on the Cape, Tim.
Yes, excellent weather here tonight. Some cloud coverage, but altogether a beautiful day. One of a slew of beautiful days that we've had as of late.
1-2 from Brooks is up high. Daniel Brooks, the starting pitcher. A freshman, righty, 6'8", 250 pounds from the College of Charleston.
You know, a lot of size on that mound. Both mounds here today.
Goodwin pops up the 2-2 pitch into foul territory, ranging over as Johnson, and he puts it away for out number one. Let's meet the Cavaliers' defense. In left field, Carter Trice, Eddie Parks in center, Josh Pearson in right, Trotter Harlan's at third, Tommy Troy at short, Colby Wilkerson at second, and Tyler Johnson at first, with Calvin Harris behind the dish for Daniel Brooks. Ethan O'Donnell will climb on in, batting second tonight. This is the highest we've seen him in the lineup. He's been a lower third guy. This is his third game for the Mariners. He's just 1 for 6 on the season from Highlands Ranch, Colorado. He watches strike one go by.
Yeah, Coach Engler's been trying to find a substitution for Chris Newell in that 2-hole ever since Newell left for the draft.
This is popped into shallow left field. Going out is Troy, and he will make the catch with ease for out number 2.
So we'll see how O'Donnell pans out over the course of the night, but of course not ideal. He pops up early on in the count, and there's now 2 gone in the inning.
Number 25,
Umpires tonight, Mike Hinojosa's behind the plate. Michael Farman at third base and Mike Rabdu at first. Team of Mikes.
That's what I was saying. It's a platoon of Mikes on the field here tonight. We're all mic'd up.
That's a good way to put it. I like that. Very clever.
Well, we're always mic'd up. Whether or not that's a good thing is yet to be determined. But
no balls and a strike to Brock Wilkin, the third baseman for the Mariners tonight. And the pitch. Fouled off. He's quickly in the hole. 0-2. Brock hitting .237 on the season. 3 home runs, 8 RBI. He's walked 11 times. That's a ball club high. A patient hitter. 0-2 offering from Brooks. This is lined into right field. Fading down the line. Going to get it is Pearson, and he makes a beautiful running catch close to the foul line. Josh Pearson showing off the speed, and it's a 1-2-3 first for Daniel Brooks. 1-0 Cavaliers. We head to the second. You're watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Eddie Park, Calvin Harris, and Josh Pearson due up for the Cavaliers. They're on the board first. Score is 1-0. Searching for their first win against the Mariners this season. And when you think about it, the Cavaliers sitting atop the Western Division with a total of 37 points. But they have lost 5 of 6 to the Mariners. Just the one tie is the only way they've collected a point. Kind of an enigma when you think about it.
yeah, Harwich is still the only team that the Cotuit Cavaliers are yet to beat on the season, and what a time it would be for them to come away with a win against Harwich, because they've been just barely holding on to that lead over in the West Division for about the last week now, staying a point ahead of Hyannis.
2-1. That pitch bounced well short. It is definitely a tight race in the West. Things have really shape-shifted. But that's what's going to happen when you only have 2 guys from your opening day roster still active. This one is grounded hard over to second. Nick Goodwin is there. He fires on first for out number 1. The good news, if you're Cotuit, is barring an insane collapse, you have a 5.5 game lead over the 2 teams tied for 4th place in Falmouth and Wareham. It's an 11-point margin, so they'd have to really have a lot of things go wrong for them to not find their way into the postseason. Calvin Harris, the catcher, climbs in. Lefty on lefty matchup, and first pitch is dropped in there from Sullivan at 74 miles per hour for strike 1. This next pitch is chopped foul, and it's 0-2. Harris, of course, sharing a name with the DJ Calvin Harris, we learned a couple weeks ago. A lot of good songs by him. Definitely check it out. I wonder how many times he gets that. That's got to get annoying after some time.
Yeah, you're trying to establish your own legacy as a Calvin Harris.
0-2, bounced in front of the plate again from Sullivan, makes it 1-2.
That's why I'm grateful there's no famous Tim Foley's. Still isn't.
There's famous Foleys.
Famous Foleys.
We've established that, but no Tim Foley's, which is great. You can pave your own path. This one misses outside. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
There was a former baseball player by the name of Tim Foley, but he spelt it F-O-L-I. Played for the Mets, Expos, Giants, Pirates, and the Angels back when they were the California Angels. Also the Yankees.
This one bounced in front of the plate again, makes it 3-2. Sullivan's control lacking. Thrown 27 pitches already. 15 of them have been strikes. Of course, we have Matt Foley from the Saturday Night Live skit with Chris Farley.
Yeah, well, he's a fictional Foley.
Hey, a Foley's a Foley in my book.
Well, I take offense to that.
As this is line foul off to the right, and it's 3-2.
Yeah, Sullivan being worked here. This is a nice at-bat to follow up the initial batter in Park, who was put out, but Harris trying to extend this inning here.
Payoff pitch is grounded back over to Goodwin once again on 4 hops. He goes to first. Vetrano there, and that's 2 up, 2 down for Sullivan in the second.
Now batting for the Cavaliers.
There we go, getting some
LSU, number
easy outs here. Couple of putouts
Pearson.
right to second. Try to get it out of this inning 1, 2, 3, and get back into a rhythm here. That's now 4 straight retired by Sullivan.
Not sure we ever touched on it, but there was an error charge to Santucci on that throw to the plate back in the first inning.
That helped to advance Kafis over to second. Nothing came of it, but still an error.
That will be his first of the season, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, typically a pitcher, but now getting some time in the outfield. Count is 1-0 to Josh Pearson, the right fielder, who climbs in.
Yeah, and I mean, why not? Santucci, he's on a 3-game hitting streak. He's hit in all 3 of the games he's gotten in on.
This one is lined just over the glove of Nick Goodwin into right field for a 2-out single. Looked for a minute as if Goodwin was going to make another one of those spectacular plays. Just didn't time the jump. It sails right over his glove, and there's activity now for the Cats. Colby Wilkerson, the 9-hitter, will climb in, trying to get it back to the top of his order. Colby hitting just 200 on the season. That's 2 for 10 from Oxford, North Carolina. Grounds this one over to Goodwin. Goodwin will go to second himself, and that will be out number 3. So Nick Goodwin involved in all 3 of the outs. No action here this time from the Kettleers. We head to the home half of the second. Mariners looking to respond. 1-0 Kettleers. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back. We have moved into the bottom of the second inning between the two squads. Joe Vetrano, Tommy Seidel, and Hunter Stokely are due up. A little more on Daniel Brooks. We didn't give you too much on him. This will be his 7th appearance, 3rd start. He's gone 12 1/3, allowed 8 hits, 5 earned runs, 8 walks to 17 strikeouts, a 3.64 ERA, 1.30 whip, and opponents hitting 190 against him. So Vetrano grounds this one over up the middle. Nice play by the second baseman, Wilkerson. He goes on to first to get him. Wilkerson ranged all the way to his right, made a backhand stop and an off-balance throw to beat Joe Vetrano at first and rob him of a hit.
Yeah, right across his body, too, on the throw. Really impressive defensive play to be able to record the first out of this inning. A nice job by Wilkerson to help keep his pitcher rolling here. And Brooks, he's coming off of a nice outing his last time out, too. 4 complete, just gave up the 1 hit, the 1 walk against Bourne, struck out 8.
That's just about half his strikeout total. First pitch to Seidel, in there for a strike. Speaking of strikeout total, Tommy Seidel leads the Harwich Mariners with 32 of them across 97 at-bats. Just about 33% of the time he has punched out. But when you think about what he brings and the potential for him to have an extra base hit, it almost all is swept under the rug.
Yeah, he's had a bit less of that as of late, but you know that that's in him as a player. You have that confidence that he's always going to be able to have that threat present whenever he steps into the box. So you'll have to have a guy like Seidel in there, not to mention what he's able to do with his arm in the field.
1-1 looked to be in there, but it misses inside. So says Mike Hinojosa, and it's 2-1.
I just want to find a way to get on base at this point. First 4 up have each gone down. You ran into a similar problem last night against Orleans. Had 2 1-2-3 innings to open up the ball game.
This is flied out to right field. Josh Pearson takes a few steps to his right, then back to his left, and pulls that in for out number 2. Random thought that just crossed my mind. When the umpires converge and have a meeting, how do you think they refer to each other? If they're all Mikes.
Well, I'm sure.
You think they have nicknames? But I feel like they're not all that familiar with each other.
You know, I could see them potentially having nicknames. I don't want to start assigning nicknames here, but I'm sure that there's an umpire fraternity, so to speak, where they all have their fancy names for one another.
Stokely fouls off the first pitch, make it 0-1. Yeah, I don't know. That was just a random thing that crossed my mind. I was thinking back to what we said. Of course, 3 mics, if you're just joining the broadcast, are doing the officiating for tonight's ball game. 0-1. That's on the outside corner to the dismay of Stokely. He bites his cheek in disbelief. It's 0-2.
I'm sure last names work too.
But I feel like that's such more of an informal thing for 3 guys that don't know each other too well. Because new crew every night. There's not like crew chiefs and they roll together.
No, of course.
0-2. This is lined right at the first baseman. Johnson makes a leaping catch to rob Stokely of a hit. Wow, we saw some great defense from the right side of the infield. Colby Wilkerson and Tyler Johnson stealing 2 hits in the inning. We head to the 3rd inning, still 1-0 Cavaliers. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
Shortstop from Stanford, number 12, Tommy Troy.
Top of the order, lineup card flips for the first time in the ballgame for either side. Tommy Troy, Carter Trice, and CJ Kafis due up. They did some damage in the top of the first, trying to follow that up against Liam Sullivan, who's back out there. It's 1-0 to Troy. Troy doubled, came around to score back in the first. Big leadoff double for him as Sullivan drops a breaking ball in there to even up the count at 1.
This is a nice off-speed pitch. Always looks great, that changeup from Sullivan. Drops it right in there. Low 70s. Not a lot guys can do but stare at it.
This is bounced in the dirt, gets by Arndt, but no harm, no foul. It's 2 balls and a strike. Sullivan up to 35 pitches. This will be the 4th of the at-bat coming to Troy. He's choked up on the bat. The pitch. He rips this one out to deep left field. Going back is Santucci looking up at the wall. It's way foul. That had the distance, but holy cow, just about 20 feet to the left of the foul pole. A bomb from Troy. But once again, no harm, no foul. It's 2-2.
Yeah, that's a home run if that stays fair. Unbelievable. I mean, reminds me of that foul ball we saw hit yesterday, I believe by Isaac Humphrey, standing in the lefty batter's box, just barreled a ball over Nauset Middle School yesterday.
This is popped up to Vetrano. He had to fight the sun, but comes down with it a little awkwardly. But nonetheless, out number 1.
The Cavaliers, the left fielder from NC
Talking to some of the
State,
players,
14,
too, about it, Matt
Carter
Gassetti
Trice.
couldn't believe it. I mean, he was just taken aback by the way that thing was pulverized over Nauset Middle.
We truly have never seen anything like that. Or maybe I speak for myself. I don't know.
I have not.
That was incredible. He hit it. It was a negative degree launch angle or something. I don't know if that's how that works. I don't think it is. But what would be the horizontal version of?
The horizontal. Well, I mean, it was probably about, if you're thinking about the first base line, probably about, or no, think about the home plate to the pitcher's mound. It was probably 90 degrees off to the right. He pulled that thing.
And he's a left-handed hitter, mind
Yes.
you. So this thing was not pushed. This was pulled.
Yes.
The bat was essentially in front of him when he made contact.
Yeah. I don't know how you get in front of it that much. You'd have to be like on home plate.
2-1 to the batter and Carter Trice, who flied out to right field. Back in the first. It was a marvel, that's for sure. 2-1. This is chopped over to third base. It'll be a foul ball, so says Mike Hinojosa. As Wilkin had to throw on target just in case. It's 2-2.
Yeah, close. Just barely caught that third base line. And so, another chance granted here to Trice.
And another thing that was interesting, I guess we'll get into it after this pitch, but 2-2 offering. It's fouled off. Typically the home dugout's on the third baseline. Orleans had their dugout in Eldridge Park on the first baseline, and how many foul balls entered the dugout on a line throughout the course of last game?
Kelly Nicholson was being given a run for his money. He was under attack last night.
It's 3-2 now to Trice. I mean, there were some lasers hit in there. I don't know how no one got hit. At least 3 or 4. The foul balls off to the right were vicious last night. Payoff pitch. This is fouled off. So we stay at 3-2.
That one went off the light. Ended up coming back into fair territory for Vetrano. Second time we've had a game here recently in which a ball's gone off of the light fixture. That was against Wareham the other night too.
There's a loud clang on that one. Kind of bizarre. Another payoff coming to Trice. And he fouls it off. What an at-bat he's had. This will be the 9th pitch coming to him. He's working Sullivan.
Yeah, I mean, 1/5 of Sullivan's pitches so far here tonight have come in this at-bat. 1 in 5.
Doing your job at the top of the order. Another payoff pitch. This is bounced way in front of the plate once again. Gets way away from Arndt, but it doesn't look like we're going to see any advancement other than to first base for Trice. So it'll be a walk issued by Sullivan, his first of the night, sixth of the season.
The DH from Miami,
Yeah, what a battle.
number 8,
Wow,
CJ
really impressive from
Kafus.
Trice. Fouled off, I believe I see 4 pitches in this at-bat. And that was after he was up ahead in the count. Nice job from Sullivan to come back in the count after falling behind 0-2, or 2-0 I should say, but even better battle there from Trice.
Kafis flips the first pitch he sees out to left field. Santucci ranging over, and he makes a catch on the sinking line drive. Great job to haul it in. Had a lot of room to cover, but it's out number 2 as Kafis gets a base hit taken from him.
First baseman from Coastal Carolina.
And always so
24,
interesting to see Santucci in
Tyler
the outfield.
Johnson.
This is the 3rd game he's been out there, and first one out in left, and you have to also keep in mind that he's starting tomorrow against Chatham. So very interesting. He's getting a look out there in left field.
First pitch to Johnson in there at the knees for strike 1. And yeah, he's been utilized just about every manner that you can. At the plate, in the field, on the mound, just never with a mask on. Hopefully that never has to come, but I'm sure he could emergency catch with his versatility. Would not be the most surprising thing. No balls, 2 strikes to Johnson. He grounded out to first base. Back in the first. The pitch. Misses up high. Good miss from Sullivan. It's 1-2.
It's been a long inning here for Sullivan, but still just a chance to only face 4 batters. That bat from Trice really lengthened this inning, shortened his outing. So it's huge here if he's able to get out of it with just the 1 man on.
1-2. Breaking ball just misses outside. Makes it 2-2. That's typically his bread and butter, but we've seen him bounce about 5 or 6 breaking balls in the dirt tonight, and he's been unable to locate it. Something that has led to his success in those long outings with a lot of strikeouts, and just hasn't been able to find it. As Johnson rips one into shallow right field. On a pop-up, Nick Goodwin is under it and puts it away. That's out number 3. So Carter Trice walks but is stranded at first. Liam Sullivan goes 3 complete. We'll take a quick break, head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. 1-0 Cavaliers. You're watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
Harwich Mariners, the left fielder from Duke, number 12, Jonathan Santucci.
Bottom third in the order due up as Mariners have gone 6 up, 6 down. Daniel Brooks has been perfect despite not having a strikeout. Jonathan Santucci will lead off. He's way ahead of the first pitch. Pulled the string on it at 82 miles an hour. That's strike one.
Yeah, he's just been dealing so far no strikeouts, but he's been pitching to contact, and his defense has been putting together some stellar plays to help him out.
Next pitch misses away, make it 1-1. Brian Arndt's on deck, followed by Kalai Harrison. And Santucci, last time he played was fantastic. Leominster, Mass native. He had a home run, a double, and he also walked. Was on base 3 times. That's 7 total bases right there. He was fantastic, Tim.
Yeah, a 3-game hitting streak, as touched on a bit earlier. Hit in all 3 games he's had at-bats in, so he's looking to keep that going. So interesting to see him really find the success that he has at the plate this season. Didn't have a large sample size over at Duke. Already nearly as many at-bats here in Harwich as he had all season with the Blue Devils.
Swings and misses at the 3-1 to make it a full count.
His batting stats over at Duke, batted just 154, going 2 for 13. Had 1 RBI, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, but significantly better numbers here. 1 double in there as well, I should say.
Payoff. Misses down in the dirt. Santucci draws a walk. He's the first base runner for the Mariners. And they got him on with nobody away, trailing by a run.
Yeah, extends his on-base streak up to 4 games now. Santucci, valuable having him in the lineup. It's really interesting. Again, we just keep talking about the fact that he's a two-way guy. But you're getting help from a place where you perhaps didn't think you originally would or could, considering you already have, Press Kavanaugh, who's available to you in the outfield, as is Cole Harding. But Mariners opting to go with their starting guy, starting pitcher, 1 in every 5 or so days. He'll be getting the nod tomorrow. Don't expect to see him hitting tomorrow, though.
That would be something, let me tell you. It's 1-0 to Arndt. Arndt, the North Carolina native, just 2 for 10 early on here. He made actually his debut for the Mariners back against Cotuit on July 9th. Had a 2-run single for his first CCBL hit. Arndt from North Carolina, Wilmington, University of North Carolina, Wilmington. A lot of University of North Carolina districts. Of course, Greensboro and Chapel Hill also on the roster. 1-0. Slapped foul makes it 1-1.
Yeah, interesting. And then, of course, Brooks Baldwin was from UNC Wilmington. Member of the Kettleers.
Yeah, he was fantastic. Kettleers have lost a lot. It's almost a story of what could have been. But summer baseball, I guess that's what you get. Take a look over at Santucci. He's back in there with the right hand. Still 1-1 to Arndt.
Yeah, and we knew when the season was starting that the rosters were going to be in constant fluctuation, and it's just been, I think, a lot of that this year because of so many factors. The biggest thing being the draft being a lot later this year. It's an extra wrinkle as opposed to when it was much earlier back in years prior. Already you have guys coming and going from Team USA, pitchers hitting their limits, and players now shutting it down for the draft. Just one more thing that these managers are going to have to work around.
2 balls and a strike to Arndt. The pitch. This is outside, 3-1. Santucci over at first. Not too much running from him. Has not officially recorded a stolen base. As Arndt draws a walk, he heads down to first base, and now it's first and second for Kalai Harrison.
Harwich Mariners, the shortstop.
There you go, if you're Harwich.
Number 35.
Bats have been struggling a little bit over
Harrison.
the past couple of games. Again, talked about the way it's been struggling against Orleans, batting just .223 over their last 5. So what's important is to get guys on base, and that's what they're finding out here in this 3rd inning. Now you have 2 on with nobody gone. Chance here for Kalai Harrison to help make an impact. One of his first few games here with the Mariners. And depending on what he's able to do, you're setting up the top of the lineup to help get Harwich right back into this game.
I would be shocked if he doesn't drop down a bunt for the top of the order. No outs. If he's capable, he definitely should weigh the option. But as Mike Roberts visits the mound, let's take a look around the Cape Cod Baseball League for some other matchups. YD Red Sox at Red Wilson Field are defending home turf. They're up 2-1 against the Chatham Anglers in the top of the 4th. Brewster Whitecaps and the Bourne Braves getting started over at Doran Park in Bourne. That's the top of the 1st. In the bottom of the 1st at Arnie Allen Diamond, the Commodores and Gateman knotted up at 0, and the Firebirds and Harbor Hawks set to get started shortly out at Eldridge Park.
Once again, batting for your Harwich Mariners, the shortstop from NC
And that's
State,
a YD team that is coming up on clinching a playoff spot, especially in considering that they're facing off against Chatham tonight. Magic number right now for the Red Sox, I believe, is 4.5, meaning they need to be able to pick up 4.5 more wins over opponents than Chatham. As another way to put that is that they just need to either pick up 9 points across the rest of the season or have Chatham miss out on 9 points the rest of the way. So a chance to decrease their magic number by 2 full games here tonight. Get it down to 2.5 if they can do it.
That would be pretty awesome for them. Harrison showed bunt, couldn't get it down on the first pitch. It's actually in there for a ball anyway, as count is now evened up. The corners are in for the Kettleers, and then Wilkerson and Troy, the second baseman and shortstop, are in double play depth, anticipating a swing, and of course going to cover the bags on a bunt attempt. Johnson and Harlan on the infield grass now. They are really creeping closer. 1-1. Harrison shows bunt, gets it down. It's scooped by Harlan. He goes on to first, and it's caught. They're going to say he was on the bag. A fantastic play by Colby Wilkerson to stretch out while diving and come down with the ball and keep his foot on the bag. Sensational play. Harrison does his job. He'll head back to the dugout, but wow, what a great defensive play to get at least one out.
Yeah, if you're Cotuit, you're grateful you're at least able to do that. It's already a hairy enough situation that Harrison was able to get off a good bunt and help advance Santucci to third and aren't down to second base. So just barely able to get away with what you would hope for as a bare minimum on a bunt laid down there. Impressive from Wilkerson that he was able to get over in time as everybody else was in. But Harrison nearly got away with one there.
Top of the order, Nick Goodwin trying to tie up the ball game. He's tied for the league lead with 19 runs batted in, along with Hogan Windish of the Wareham Gateman. If he can find a home for this ball or even a sac fly, he could take sole lead with 20. Santucci 90 feet away from scoring. Here comes the 0-1 to Goodwin. Bounced in the dirt. A nice stop. Santucci's going to have to hold up at third. Good block from Calvin Harris behind the plate, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, he was thinking about coming in. If it wasn't for the sign there from Goodwin, he would have kept on charging in. Thought he had a good read on it as Harris had charged down the first base line to get a hold of it. I think it would have potentially been a close play. We'll see. We won't see, but of course, hindsight 2020.
It's a ball and a strike to Goodwin. Brooks into his set, and the delivery. In there for a strike. Santucci had some serious thoughts about going. That's how the Red Sox won the game last night. Xander Bogaerts came in on a ball that went off the chest of the all-star catcher in Trevino and bounced into the infield, and then he just won the race.
I would say at this point, though, if you're Harwich, there's no real need to be overly aggressive and risk it at this juncture of the ball game.
1-2 is chopped foul. Goodwin, displeased with himself, wanted that pitch as he recoils his bat back quickly in frustration. Still 1-2.
It was just a 1-0 game. You still have runners on second and third with just one gone. I think being conservative here is certainly the better move.
Especially with a contact guy in Goodwin. Leads the team in at-bats and experience for that matter. 111 for him now. 1-2. Breaking ball, hit him. That will load up the bases. Nick Goodwin gets plunked on the arm. And now nowhere to put him for the two-hitter, Ethan O'Donnell.
Now batting for your Harwich Mariners.
Yeah, such a
the
change in
center fielder
pace
from
here
Virginia,
after Brooks was really
two,
allowing his
Ethan
defense to do a lot of work for him
O'Donnell.
across the first 2 innings. Now really isn't letting him get involved at all. Walked the first 2, did get a ground out, so to speak, on the bunt from Harrison on the 5-3 putout, but that was all entirely what the Harwich Mariners had in mind. And then you hit Goodwin, not letting your defense do a whole lot for you here.
O'Donnell just 1 for 7 on the early season. First pitch to him is down in the dirt. Nice stop by Harris behind the plate. It's 1-0. Can pick up his first career RBI in the Cape Cod Baseball League with a swing here. He's gotten out to work with to his favor. Brock Wilkin right behind him on deck. Infield is completely in, so almost no option for a double play. Mike Roberts being aggressive. It's 2-0 now to O'Donnell. O'Donnell recently announced that he's transferring to Virginia. Former Northwestern Wildcat. 2 balls and no strikes to him. And the pitch. That one right in there at the belt, and it's 2-1. Coach Englert providing some words of encouragement from the Harwich dugout for O'Donnell, the newcomer. Still no hits for the Mariners in this ball game, as O'Donnell foul tips this one into the mask of Harris, or maybe the chest protector, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, you mentioned that. I mean, Harwich has been beat that way a couple of times recently. Not doing a whole lot to help themselves out, hitting batters, walking guys, and so now getting some of that right back in return here, although of course haven't scratched a run across yet. Need to actually do something now here with 2 in scoring position.
2-2. O'Donnell slaps it into foul territory off to the left. Trotter Harlan is under and on the pitcher's mound. Out in foul territory, he hauls it in. So O'Donnell fouls out. That will leave all the runners stranded. He's now 0 for 2 on the day.
Number 25, Brock.
And now you find yourself in an unfavorable situation here if you're Harwich. Runners in scoring position, 2 outs, batting just 153 in this situation on the season.
Santucci walked to start the inning. He's over at third. Arndt walked right behind him. He's down at second. Then we had a perfect bunt from Harrison to get them over to second and third. Nick Goodwin was hit by a pitch to load the bases, and Ethan O'Donnell fouled out to make it 2 outs with the bases loaded. Brock Wilkins ahead in the count, 1-0. A guy more than capable of finding a home for this pitch. Here comes the 1-0 offering. He swings and hits this one deep to left. Going back is Harlan. He makes a running catch and slams into the wall. Carter Trice had a lot of ground to cover, and he made a catch with no fear of the wall. Slammed right into it and runs it in as if it was routine. Brock Wilkin is robbed of extra bases. The Kettleers defense has been sensational. We head to the middle third, still 1-0 Cotuit. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Middle third of the ball game, 1-0 Cavaliers after Tommy Troy led off the game, came around to score after his double. And taking us the next 3 innings, my broadcast partner, Tim Foley. Tim.
For the Cavaliers.
Thanks so much,
third
Devin,
baseman,
as it'll be the
Number
5,
two,
6,
Trotter
7 hitters
Harlan.
for the Cotuit Cavaliers. Trotter Harlan, Eddie Park, and Calvin Harris all due up this inning. Trotter Harlan stands in first. He'll take a first pitch ball at 86 miles an hour from Liam Sullivan. Sullivan back out there. It is his 4th inning of work. He'll wind and deliver the 1-0. That'll be hit right back over his head, out into center field, and it's a base hit single from Trotter Harlan on the 2nd pitch of the inning, and Cotuit is off and running.
Now batting for the Cavaliers.
Nice piece of hitting there, a high pitch, but he went up and got it, lined it right up the middle. Textbook base hit, and Cavaliers are in business. They have 4 hits already in the ball game.
2 in the first, 1 in the second. Did draw a walk in the 3rd. There's not yet been a 1-2-3 inning for Liam Sullivan, as he now faces off against Eddie Park, who grounded out to second to open up the 2nd inning. Here's the first offering to him. That's going to be hit the other way, and that's going to get down. Back-to-back singles to lead off the inning for the Cotuit Cavaliers. 3 pitches, 2 base hits. Runners on first and second now, and Cotuit continues to threaten. Nobody gone here now for Calvin Harris.
Nice piece of hitting once again. Did his job, opposite field, dumped it into left. 3 pitches, 2 hits. Liam Sullivan's allowed. And the 3rd batter will climb in now, and Calvin Harris with a chance to do damage.
We'll see how long this goes on for here with Sullivan, as he stares in at Harris, who grounded out to second as well back in the 2nd inning. Sullivan stares back at second. Here's the pitch. That's a high off-speed pitch that drops in at 69 miles an hour. 0-1 count now as Harris showed bunt. On the season, Sullivan has allowed 17 hits across his 18 innings pitched, so he's about a hit an inning kind of guy. As the 0-1 comes in, bunt is going to be fouled off, so it's an 0-2 count now. But it's been tough for him here, giving up now at this point on the season across his 21 innings pitched, or 21 complete, I should say. He's allowed 22 hits, so he's going to try to get out of this inning, see if he can't maintain that 1 hit per inning pace. Sullivan stares back towards second, looks in. Here's the 0-2. Skips in the dirt, gets away from Art. Down to 3rd goes Harlan. Up to 2nd is Park. Cotuit gets some extra bases here as Arndt is unable to stop that one. It was down in the dirt. That off speed from Sullivan, we've seen it so many times. It has a knack for just dropping right in the dirt before home plate, and it got the better of Arndt just then, and it puts Cotuit in an even better spot here, and that's going to force Coach Rosen to have to come out of the dugout and have a talk with his lefty.
And he just really hasn't had it with the breaking ball tonight. Usually his put-away pitch, but he's been bouncing it all the time. And in a situation where Harris is looking to bunt, can't get it down, gets 2 strikes on himself, and then you bounce one in the dirt and give him a chance to swing now with runners in scoring position, really hurts you as a pitcher, and we'll see if he's able to battle back, but in a really difficult spot right now.
Harris on the season for the Cavaliers, batting .292, 7 of 24. Does not have an RBI, surprisingly, despite the high batting average, and so a chance here for his first RBI or 2 if he's able to make it happen in this at-bat. He is down in the count, 1-2. Here's the pitch. Down in the dirt, gets away from Art. That's going to come back to the backstop. Sullivan comes in to try to receive the throw, but it's not made in time. Harlan's in to score. Parks down to 3rd. It's 2-0 Cotuit in the top of the 4th inning.
And this is one Arndt's got to have. Bit of an Olay technique from him there. It's bounced in the dirt to his left. Not far from him, though, and he just goes after it with the glove. Doesn't get the body in front of it. Pays the price. It skips right under. 2-0 Cavaliers. And they've been moved all the way in from second without a ball being put in from play. That being Trotter Harlan.
So certainly not an ideal start here if you're Harwich, as this one's going to be hit on the ground left side. Picked up by Harrison, thrown to first in time. He's able to keep Park pinned over at third as you had to just look him off to keep him at the bag. So Park stays parked, and there's now one gone with a man on third for Josh Pearson.
I think the frustrating thing if you're Harwich has got to be if none of those pitches get by Arndt, then you're probably getting a double play out of that. As not a lot of speed from Calvin Harris, and a ball hit right to the shortstop, and Harrison could be two bases, or two outs rather.
That one's going to be laid down. Arndt picks it up, but they're going to say foul. They're going to say it was fouled off, and that it's, I'm sorry, what just happened here? Looks like they're signaling an out. Devin, you may have a better idea as to what just happened.
So, it was a bunt that hit the dirt, and then Josh Pearson ran into his own ball while it was in the batter's box, so it touched him. He's out, and the runner in Eddie Park has to retreat to third base because it's a dead ball. He's not allowed to advance on that. And so Mariners catch a quick break now.
Now batting for the Kettleers.
Suicide squeeze, so they were planning on getting the run and sacrificing an out, but it hits him while he's in the batter's box, and Park has to retreat to third. 2 away still. Bit of a gift there.
Haven't seen that happen all season long, where a ball ends up hitting a batter out of the box and ends up costing his team an out. So potentially a chance to get bailed out here if you're Harwich. Cotuit had runners on second and third with nobody gone. Harlan did come across the score, but now you have a chance of leaving Park stranded. There's an uncomfortable swing up high. Colby Wilkerson tried to check his swing, but he did go around, so says Mike Rabideau, and so Wilkerson now down to the count here, 0-2. We've seen just one strikeout here tonight from Liam Sullivan, generally a high-volume strikeout guy. That's in there for called strike 3. Liam Sullivan does find the strike zone. He's got his second of the night, and we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Cotuit does get another run across on a passed ball. So we'll be back. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
Baseman from Boston College, number 30,
Joe Vitrano leads it off in the bottom half of the 4th inning for the Harwich Mariners, who are looking to tack one on after leaving them stranded back in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Left them loaded, I should say. 2 walks to open up the inning. 1 to Santucci, 1 to Art. Harrison laid down a bunt to get runners to 2nd and 3rd with just 1 gone. And then after Nick Goodwin was hit by a pitch, you had him loaded with just 1 gone. But O'Donnell popped out to 3rd in foul territory, and then Brock Wilkin gave the Mariners a fighting chance, hit a nice line drive down the 3rd base line that nearly left the yard, but an impressive catch from Caden Trice ended the inning, saved the lead for the Kettleers, and they've now added on to it. It's 2-0 Cotuit, and it's an 0-2 count to Joe Vetrano, who stands in, taps on home, awaits the pitch from Daniel Brooks, who's back out there for his fourth inning. This is going to be pounded out toward left field, over the head of Trice. Unable to get this one. Vetrano digging for two. He'll pull up standing. It's a leadoff double for Joe Vetrano.
Nice job by Vetrano there. Powerful swing, and it was tailing away from Trice. He had no chance at it. Vetrano finds a home for his first hit for the Mariners.
Seidel now steps up to bat, flew out to right field in his last at-bat back in the second inning. But yes, the first hit of the ball game for Harwich after they threatened last inning, as we talked about. And this is going to force a conversation on the mound here. Calvin Harris will come out and have a brief chat with his pitcher in Daniel Brooks. So Harwich 2 points back of Orleans now after dropping 2 out of the 3 games they had against the Firebirds over the past 4 days. Orleans on a 3-game winning streak as they were able to beat these very Kettleers in the day between the last 2 matchups. That was back on Thursday as Harwich was taking down the Wareham Gatemen. But again, the biggest thing to keep track of here for Harwich is that you are still ahead of Chatham, and you play against them 3 more times this season, twice within the final week of the regular season. So that'll be a big matchup that the Mariners cannot afford to drop, as Mike Roberts is now going to come out after the conversation on the mound ends. Some gamesmanship as we're used to seeing, where catchers will come out, have a talk, they'll head back behind home, and then the manager comes out as they let the new arm who's getting ready to come into the game get ready. So it looks like this is going to be the day for Daniel Brooks. We head into a pitching change. We'll introduce the new pitcher and recap the day for Brooks on the other side. In the meantime, don't go too far. It's a 2-0 lead for Cotuit. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Tommy Seidel is up to bat. He'll be the first Harwich Mariner to face off against Will Jacobson, the new pitcher who is on the mound for the Cotuit Kettleers. Before we talk about Jacobson, Daniel Brooks's day is done. He pitched 3+ innings, allowed 1 hit, 2 walks, did not strike anybody out, and he is responsible for Joe Vitrano standing over on second base. So again, it is Will Jacobson who stands in. This is his 8th appearance, a 1-0 record, ERA of 4.05. He's allowed 11 hits, I should say, 6 walks as the first pitch is in for a called strike. He's struck out 10 batters on the season. Batters batting .229 against him on the season. Jacobson stares in. He's ahead in the count, 0-1. Comes set, stares at Vitrano. Here's the pitch. Seidel checks his swing. They're going to say he went around, and so it's quickly 0-2 here to Seidel.
All right, don't know about that one. Didn't look even close to me. 0-2 to Seidel, though. He'll have to stay alive. Flew out to right back in the 3rd inning.
Jacobson going to need a relatively clean inning in order to get out of this one unscathed. Altogether, it wasn't a bad day for Brooks to open it up. Sat down the Mariners 1-2-3 in each the 1st and 2nd innings as Seidel lines this one over to shortstop. Troy picks it up, throws on to first, and that's in time. So Seidel's able to move Vitrano down to third base. He is retired, but the Mariners now have their first run of the game standing 90 feet away, I should say.
Good news is Hunter Stokely's going to climb in. He leads the ball club with 3 sacrifice flies this season. So a guy who's been very good given the situation. Infield is in. Mike Roberts being really aggressive with his defense. We'll see if Stokely can find a home for this one or get it deep.
He is, I would say, as that's going to be popped up foul out of play, 0-1. One of the better situational hitters on this team for Harwich. I mean, what he's been able to do at the plate has been mighty impressive when you talk about on-base percentage for a guy such as Stokely. As he stands in, it's an 0-1 count to him here. Jacobson comes set. Here's the pitch. It's cut on a miss. It's an 0-1 count right now. And on the season, Stokely, despite batting just 167, one of the better on-base percentages on the team at 364. Takes a lot of walks, gets hit by a lot of pitches too. Not sure if that's by design, of course, but he's able to draw contact. He's able to make things happen the way he needs to, and he helps his team out, as you put it as well, with the sac flies in a variety of ways. Goes down swinging there, and he's not too happy about it. It's the first strikeout of the day for the Cotuit Kettleers as a pitching staff, because again, Brooks did not have a single strikeout in his start, so it's the first time that a Mariner goes down swinging. And this now brings up Jonathan Santucci to try to bring in Vitrano, standing on third now.
Tough break there for Stokely. Goes down on 3 pitches. Maybe we jinxed him. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. But now Santucci going to have to do a lot of work to get this run in.
That's in for a called strike, and it's 0-1. Saw this happen a lot to Harwich earlier in the season, where they'd get a guy on second with nobody gone, and they failed to bring him home. Then there was that stretch of about 6 games where they were able to bring guys in like it was nobody's business. As the 0-1 misses, it's a 1-1 count. But now, Harwich falling back into that a bit. Again, did not score at all yesterday, shut out for the 4th time this season. Left a total of 7 runners on base. Here's the 1-1. Just catches the outside corner at 92 miles an hour, and Jacobson a pitch away now from getting out of the inning after coming in with a runner already on second.
If you're Harwich, you really don't want to waste that leadoff double by Vitrano. Got to capitalize where you can. Here's an opportunity.
The 1-2, that's going to be popped up back in foul territory. Harris charging over. That's going to land foul. We'll do it again at 1-2.
Also to note, Joe Savino's been loosening in the Harwich pen for a while, so likely the day for Liam Sullivan, considering how long Savino's been up. He is more of a long-term reliever as well, so expect him to come in.
Santucci stands back in now, trying to dig into this Cotuit lead at least if he can bring across Vetrano. The 1-2 fought foul, and we'll do it again at 1-2. And yes, I'd say probably the day for Sullivan. Not his most efficient outing. Did go 4 innings. You're able to get that much out of him at least. Not the greatest success against Cotuit this season for Liam Sullivan. Here's the 1-2. Misses outside. It's 2-2 now.
Good at bat for Santucci. This will be the 7th pitch of it. Brian Art on deck. Santucci's already walked tonight. Let's see how patient he elects to be here with the count even.
2-2 count. Jacobson, the pitch. Santucci tries to check his swing, and he went around. So says Michael Farman. The inning ends on back-to-back strikeouts by Will Jacobson. Comes in relief of Daniel Brooks after he lets up a leadoff double to Joe Vetrano, and he's able to retire the side in order 1-2-3. We head to the top of the 5th inning. The Mariners back out in the field when we return. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. The top of the 5th inning as Cotuit's back up to bat. Leading off, Tommy Troy at the top of the order for the Kettleers. He'll pop up the first pitch he sees. Brian Art will take a few steps back from behind home plate, but that'll fly out of play, and the count is 0-1. So it's the top of the order due up here. We'll see Tommy Troy, Caden Trice, and C.J. Kafis up to bat in this inning. This part of the lineup for the Kettleers, a collective 2 for 5, double and a single. Troy, he was the first run of the ball game. He was the first base runner. Ended up coming around. He'll hit this one on the left side. Picked up by Wilkin. Cross diamond throw onto first base in time.
Nice play by Wilkin there. Had to be a good one against the speedy Troy. Gets him by a step, and a quick one for Joe Savino here.
For the Kettleers, the left fielder from NC State, number 14, Carter Trice.
As this now brings up Caden Trice up to bat for the Kettleers. There is a new pitcher on the mound for the Harwich Mariners. It is Joe Savino. The day is done for Liam Sullivan. as Sullivan on the day went 4 complete, allowed 5 hits, allowed 2 runs, both of which were earned, walked a batter, and struck out a batter. And I believe it is Carter Trice. Not sure where I got Caden Trice exactly. Next pitch is in for a strike. It's a 1-1 count right now.
I think there's a Caden Grice on Chatham, if I'm not mistaken.
You know what? I think that's exactly what's happened here. You are right. So, with that being said, getting ahead of myself, that'll be tomorrow that the Mariners take on the Anglers. In the meantime, it's now a 1-2 count here to Carter Trice. Trice on the day, he is 0 for 1, flew out to right field in the first inning, and then walked back in the third. He'll hit this one right through the gap on the right side. That'll be picked up by Seidel, and there's a man on first now with 1 gone for the Kettleers.
Now batting for the Kettleers, the DH from
Nice
Miami.
piece of hitting that
number 8,
time, opposite
CJ
field, right
Kafis.
in that 4-3 gap. Nothing you can do there, just a nice piece of hitting. Savino worked hard to get it. Had 2 strikes on the batter, but good situational baseball from Trice.
And yes, it is Savino who's on the mound. His line on the season looks like this. This is his 8th appearance of the year. ERA at 2.64. Record of 2-0 on the season for the Mariners. He's pitched 17 complete, and he has struck out 22 to just 4 walks. It's a 1-0 count here to the battering Kafis now, who's 1 for 2 on the day. Watches that one just miss outside, bit high as well. It's 2-0 now. 87 miles an hour that pitch came in at. But Savino, you mentioned it, he can be a bit of a long reliever here for the Mariners. Longest outing came back in late June. 4 complete innings against the Wareham Gatemen. 2-0 pitch is going to be in for a called strike. It's a 2-1 count now.
Generous call for Savino there, and he needed it. Don't want to fall behind 3-0 already with a runner on base.
Savino comes set, holds the glove about waist height. Here's the pitch. That's going to be lined out to right field. Seidel charging in, makes the catch. Diving out, Tommy Seidel lays it all on the line, makes the grab, and there's now 2 gone in the top of the 5th.
Beautiful play there, came charging in, made it right at the last second. Nice grab there. Unfortunately, the Tommy Seidel fan club might either be sleeping or didn't make it out to this game, because they would have loved that play.
Yeah, Tommy Seidel, he's had a traveling band of fans, all cousins, that have been able to make it out. Is Tommy Seidel going to be tested once again? This one going back out to deep right field. Seidel at the wall, makes the grab. Didn't need to make a jump for it, but nonetheless, he makes a nice catch at the fence, and he's able to help keep this a quiet inning for Cotuit at the plate. So, the Kettleers leave a man on first. Tommy Seidel makes a couple of nice grabs out in right, and we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. It's 2-0 Cotuit. When we return, you're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. Brian Arndt leads it off here in the bottom of the 5th inning for the Harwich Mariners. He'll take a first pitch fastball up high out of the right hand of Will Jacobson. Misses. The count here is now 1-0 to Arndt, who on the night is yet to record an official at-bat. Did walk back in the 3rd inning, and now here we are in the 5th. It was an effective showing from Will Jacobson as he came in relief of Daniel Brooks. Brooks allowed a leadoff double to Joe Vitrano, so he was on second with nobody gone, but thereafter, Jacobson was able to get Seidel to ground out and then struck out each Stokely and Santucci swinging to end the inning as Vitrano was stranded on 3rd. The Mariners have now left 4 stranded here tonight as the 2-0 pitch is in for a called strike. It's now 2-1.
Comes down to just capitalizing. Cavaliers have stranded 5, though, in the ballgame. 1 in every inning thus far.
2-1 is cut on and missed. 2-2 count now, but I guess the thing for them that you have to look at is that even still they're able to get guys around. They do have a 2-run lead at the moment. Harwich has been shut out 2-0 twice this season. Once at Orleans, once at Hyannis.
And they've been stumped by the YD Red Sox twice.
Yes, although those games were not 2-0 as Arndt hits this one right over to Tommy Troy. It looked like perhaps it was going to get back up the middle, but a nice piece of running by Troy, able to close in on the gap, makes the catch, and there's one gone to open up this 5th inning.
Might have broke the bat a little bit because it sounded like it cracked. Didn't get all of it. So very disappointing for Arndt there. Looked like for sure he had a single.
This now brings up Kalai Harrison, who on the night grounded out to 3rd in his last at-bat. First pitch to him is going to miss down low, and so the count opens at 1-0. 92 miles an hour that pitch came in at. Jacobson's now retired the last 4 straight batters. Again, it's been an impressive showing from him. As the next pitch comes in, that's popped up out of play, and it's now a 1-1 count.
Just 5 hits across the last 13 innings for the Mariner offense. It has been really held in check by the Orleans Firebirds and now Cotuit Cavaliers. And no runs in that time at all.
Here's the 1-1. That's going to be hit foul, and it's to be done again now at 1-2, 92 miles an hour. It's just, for some reason, the offense coming to a bit of a halt here for the Mariners, despite what's otherwise been a successful month of July when you talk about the batting stats from June to July and the way that things have changed once the calendar's flipped over. As Jacobson stares in, nods, comes set, holds the glove about head height. Here's the pitch. That'll be cut foul. It's 1-2 once again as that one just makes it over the fence, and a flock of children soon swarms thereafter. When you look at June to July, Mariners batting .226 this month. Admittedly not the greatest batting average, but compared to just the .200 they batted back in the month of June, it's a significant improvement. Same goes for slugging and on-base percentage, both about the mid-300s now in on-base percentage and slugging, despite being in the high 200s back across all of June. And already here, across just 13 games played in July, 58 walks to 43 walks in the 17 games played in all of June. So more walks and fewer games. The discipline's gone up for the Mariners. But even still, it's been frustrating these past couple of games at least, as that's going to just miss for a ball. It's a 2-2 count. Not quite sure where it missed, but at 93 miles an hour, Kalai Harrison will be happy to get another chance.
Bit of a gift for him there. Now he's got to make the most of it. He's put together a nice at-bat, fouled off 3 pitches in it. See if he can win the battle against Jacobson.
The 2-2. It'll be fought foul. Nice at-bat here from Harrison. He's putting together a good fight as he sends that one off into the stands. And this is set to be the 8th pitch of the at-bat coming up here. We have seen 5 fouls off the bat of Harrison to this point. Will Jacobson stares in. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Harrison cuts on it, can't find any of it. It's the third strikeout for Will Jacobson. He's now retired. The only 5 he's faced.
Kansas State, number 6, Nick.
Nice job by
Goodwin.
Jacobson to continue to pitch to him. They're all strikes. He wasn't wasting pitches as balls. Harrison was fighting, but then blew a fastball up and away at him. That's a pitcher's pitch. Not much Harrison can do. Now 2-away for Nick Goodwin.
As Goodwin digs in, he is 0 for 1 on the day. Flew out to first in foul territory to open up the home half of the first, and then was hit by a pitch back in the 3rd inning. Got stranded on first, however. He was a part of that 3rd inning in which the Mariners were able to load the bases on 2 walks and a hit batter, but unable to drive any of them across as they each got on there with only just 1 gone. It's an 0-1 count to Goodwin. Jacobson stares in. Here's the pitch. That'll be fought off, and so it's 0-2 now here to Goodwin. Interesting note, today being a Saturday, one of the worst days of the week batting-wise for the Harwich Mariners, batting 193 on any given Saturday. 2nd lowest batting average on any given day of the week, lowest being on Mondays at 162. The 0-2 down in the dirt out in front of Goodwin, but they're going to say he went around on the check swing, and so the inning ends. Will Jacobson has retired 6 straight batters. He has struck out 4 of them. It's been an impressive showing from Jacobson as we head now to the top of the 6th inning. We'll be back with more Harwich Mariners baseball in a minute. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
The third baseman from the College of Charleston.
As we're back here, it's the top of the 6th inning. Had a couple of Mariners come up into the press box just at the onset of this inning, and for some reason it scared the living daylights out of me. As the first pitch is in for a called strike to Trotter Harlan. We'll see the 5, 6, 7 hitters due up here in this inning for the Kettleers. It's set to be Harlan, Park, and Harris as they each led off the 4th inning as well. It's now a 1-1 count here to Harlan, who on the day is 1 for 2. Singled and came all the way around to score back in his last at-bat in the 4th inning. Came home on a pass ball. That one's hit on the ground to Vetrano. He'll have to flip to Savino, who covers. It's in time, and there's now 1 gone to open up the top of the 6th inning.
Couple Italians pulling it off right there. Nice stop by Vetrano over at first base. That ball took a funky hop. Uncharacteristic at Whitehouse, but he was able to pull it in at the numbers. Savino wins the race over to first, and it's a good 3-1 put out to start the 6th inning.
As now Eddie Park comes up to bat. He is 1 for 2 on the day. Singled back in the 4th inning, helped to move Harlan around the base paths. First pitch comes in at 79 miles an hour. It misses inside. Count opens at 1-0. Savino, this is his 2nd inning of work. A decent 1st inning for him as he came in relief of Liam Sullivan to open up the 5th inning. allowed just a single to Carter Trice. Otherwise, was able to retire the only other 3 he faced in the inning. It's a 2-0 count here to Park. Here's the pitch. That's going to be hit foul the other way. 2-1 now. Savino, he's really just been a solid arm for the Mariners this season. Excellent option out of the bullpen for the team out of Elon. He's looked great whenever he's come in. As the 2-1 is now delivered. That is just going to catch the inside part of the plate. It's now 2-2.
Such a luxury. So when you have a starter who's inefficient or gets hammered, that you can have Savino come in long term. He can eat innings and be effective. That's exactly what he's done. Just what the Mariners bargained for.
Here's a 2-2. That's just going to miss down low, and Park is able to hold off on it, so the count now runs full. And you wonder, too, with the way that these seasons go, of course, pitchers generally tend to become a luxury the later into the season you are. As this one's hit through the left side, just stopped by Harrison, but he's not going to be able to whip it over to first base. An infield single for Eddie Park. He's now 2 for 3 on the day.
Harrison made a great stop, diving in the hole, but just way too deep, especially in a guy like Eddie Park, who is quick. No chance there, but at least you make this stop.
So now this brings up Calvin Harris, who's 0 for 2 on the day. He's grounded out to the middle infield twice. As Savino kicks and delivers the first pitch, that'll be sent back toward the mitt of Art. And so the count opens at 0-1. Beautiful evening here at White House Field.
Yeah, just about 73 degrees. Should drop to about 70 by the end of the ball game, but picture perfect.
So runner goes. This ball's popped up and out of play, and so we will do it again. It's an 0-2 count now here. Savino, he is yet to strike anybody out.
Park has 3 stolen bases on the season in 4 attempts. Wouldn't be shocked if Roberts is aggressive here. 1 out, bottom of the order coming up. Want to make something happen on the base paths.
Here's the pitch. Hit on the ground left side. Picked up by Wilkin. On to second for 1. On to first for 2. The throw is late. Slightly off the mark as well. And so the inning will continue. Park, the lead runner, he's cut down on the
now batting for the Cavaliers, the right fielder
5-6 putout.
Number 25, Josh Pearson.
And so this now brings up Josh Pearson. Runner still on first here for Cotuit. Or 5-4 put out there, excuse me, because it was Goodwin who came over, of course, as generally is the situation. So Savino stares in as he now faces down Pearson. Pearson on the day, 1 for 2, singled back in the second inning, and then hit himself with his own bunt as he tried to lay it down to help advance Trotter Harlan and Eddie Park back in the 4th inning. That was a huge break for the Mariners, who were then able to strike out the next batter in Colby Wilkerson. It's a 2-0 count here to Pearson. Of course, Trotter Harlan did end up coming across in that inning on the pass ball, and that continues to help make the difference right now. 2-0 lead for Cotuit. Swing and a miss. 2-1 now.
Huge cut there. Savino blew it by him. A little bit of off speed, 87. Right over the top of it was Pearson. See if Savino can use that to his advantage now.
Here's the 2-1. Swing and a miss. It's now 2-2. 75 miles an hour. Just sort of drifted that pitch toward the upper third of the strike zone. And Pearson well ahead of it. It's an even count now. 2-2. Savino stares in. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Joe Savino. He's able to strike out Josh Pearson. His first strikeout of the day. We head now to the bottom of the 6th inning. The Harwich Mariners back up to bat when we return. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network.
off the bottom of the sixth for your Harwich Mariners, the center fielder from Virginia, number 2, Ethan O'Donnell.
The public address announcer, Chris Cassidy, brings in Ethan O'Donnell, the leadoff hitter here in the bottom of the sixth inning. Mariners trailing 2-0 right now to the Cotuit Kettleers. They have been held scoreless for quite some time now, the Mariners. The last run that Harwich scored came in the 7th inning against the Wareham Gatemen. That was back on Thursday, 2 days ago. It was a 3-run 7th inning in which Nick Goodwin, Tommy Seidel, and Joe Vetrano each came across the score, but since then, it's been a struggle. You get shut out yesterday after only recording 4 hits and leaving 7 on. And now here you are. You've been 1 hit through 5 complete, and Ethan O'Donnell's behind in the count 1-2 to lead off the 6th inning. Back out on the mound, Will Jacobson. He's retired the last 6 batters. It's been impressive from him. 4 strikeouts in that sequence as he'll ground one on to second base. Wilkerson on to first in time. 1 gone. 7 straight now from Jacobson.
And the O'Donnell experiment in the 2-hole has not been a great one. Really has not been successful there at all, especially in that 3rd inning. Came up bases loaded and 1 away and fouled out. Couldn't get any runs in. That is absolutely one of the key moments in the ball game. Cotuit has just played fantastic on the defensive side of the ball. Saw sensational plays from Trice, Wilkerson, Johnson. I mean, it's really been up and down the charts. Fantastic for them.
As the first offering comes into Brock Wilkin, and the count opens up here at 1-0. And it's really interesting to look at the fact that Cotuit defensively has been having an excellent game, because as a team, they have the 2nd worst fielding percentage in the Cape Cod Baseball League at .966. As that's going to be in for a called strike. No errors on the night, the Kettleers. As it's a 1-1 count here to Wilkinson. Brock Wilkin.
Last time he was up, that was when Carter Trice made that sensational grab out in the warning track, slammed into the wall in left with the bases loaded. That's the reason that Harwich still without a run. It would have been 2, maybe even 3.
Would have certainly put Harwich out in front. At the time, only down 1-0, would then go on to fall behind 2-0 in the following half inning. As it's a 2-1, and that's going to be rocketed out towards center field. Popped up, however, got under it just enough for Eddie Park out in center field to come down with it, and there's now 2 gone in the inning.
Just under it.
Wilkins right there, just can't bail it up enough, and
number 30,
he returns to the dugout once again. 0 for 3 on the night. Vetrano, the only one with a knock for the Mariners in the ball game. He's got a double.
Grounded out to second otherwise back in the 2nd inning. First time he's come up to bat not leading off an inning, although even still he's not been set up well here. Still nobody on ahead of him. As the first pitch comes in right about the feet. Does a little shuffle, dodges out of the way, and the count is 1-0. Take another look very quickly at the out-of-town scoreboard. Chatham with a 4-2 lead right now over the YD Red Sox. Brewster and Bourne tied 0-0, bottom of the 5th. As Vetrano swings and misses, it's a 1-1 count. Falmouth leads Wareham 3-0 in the bottom of the 4th. That's at Arnie Allen Diamond. And then over at Eldridge Park in the top of the 4th inning, Hyannis and Orleans are scoreless. What a throttling Hyannis handed the Gatemen last night. A 15-1 win in a game that only went 7 innings. As that misses down low, it's a 2-1 count.
And those 15 runs came on just 13 hits. Wareham had 9, but they only cashed in for 1 run. Kind of a bizarre game when you, all things considered.
Wareham has been leaving runners on base like it's their job this summer. They have been struggling now in the basement over in the West Division. 2-1 comes in, called strike 2 as that's able to cross home plate at 79 miles an hour. And so Vetrano and the Mariners down to their final strike here in the 6th. Nobody on. Vetrano trying to extend this inning some way, shape, or form. Mariners trying not to be sat down 1, 2, 3 for the second straight inning. Would be the fourth of the ball game. And it would be 9 straight for Jacobson. Here's the 2-2. Just misses inside. It's now run full. 3-2 at 92 miles an hour.
See if Vetrano can get on. Tommy Seidel on deck. He's got some power. See if he can make anything of it.
Jacobson comes set. Here's the pitch. Vetrano out ahead of this one. Just gets a piece of it. Sends it off and out of play. Fans scurry thereafter to try to find it. And so we'll do it again at 3-2. Again, just the one hit in the ball game for the Mariners so far. It's been a struggle. 0 for 5 with 2 outs in an inning. This one's popped up, and that's out of play as well. Vetrano extending the at-bat here. Nobody up and warming in the Cotuit bullpen. Mike Roberts content with the way that his righty out of Harvard has come in and has fared across his soon-to-be 3 complete innings if he's able to retire Vetrano. He's thrown just 44 pitches through 2 2/3, and he's got a full count here to Vetrano. Here's the pitch. Hit on the ground left side, picked up by Troy. On to first, in time, on target, and the inning ends. So, Will Jacobson has faced the minimum. He's retired 9 straight batters since coming in the bottom of the 4th inning for Daniel Brooks. It's been excellent for him. Meanwhile, it's been abysmal for Harwich at the plate. We'll be back with the top of the 7th inning. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
Baseman from UNC, number 27, Colby Wilkerson.
Back with you inside White House Field. A 2-0 lead for the Cotuit Kettleers. Something they've held on to since the top of the 4th inning. For play-by-play for the remaining 3 innings of play, my broadcast partner, Devin Dobick. Devin.
Thank you, Tim. Wilkerson, Troy, and Trice due up for the Kettleers. They have been great on both sides of the ball. 7 hits, 2 runs to show for it. Have stranded a runner in every inning. Yes, a singular runner in every inning 1 through 6 as Savino falls behind 2-0. Next pitch is just below the outside corner, 3-0.
Not what you want to see here. Savino very quickly falling in a hole.
And 3-0 is in there for a strike. On the day, Wilkerson grounded into a fielder's choice, and he's also punched out looking. That one will also be in there as Wilkerson had flipped his bat off back to the dugout, but Hinojosa says, oh, no, you don't. He'll call him right back to the box. And that can't be a good look here, as now it's 3-2, and anything close, you got to think Hinojosa is going to want to ring him up after that.
Yeah, not always the greatest idea to try to sell a walk like that.
payoff. Swung on and missed. Savino battles back. Back-to-back strikeouts for him. Dugout loves it. Number 2. And there's one away in the 7th.
Yeah, I mean, you try to show up. The umpire, Savino, you ultimately go down swinging like that, you're going to get a reaction out of the Harwich dugout in a situation like that. So Wilkerson, not the greatest showing in that at-bat.
Top of the order, Tommy Troy. He's ahead in the count 1-0. He's doubled and scored, also popped out to first and grounded out to third.
But to talk about that last at-bat again, just impressive that Savino, despite going down 3-0, able to come back like that. Was not shaken after falling behind in the count, as he's fallen behind again here in this count.
2 balls, no strikes to Troy. The pitch. Below the knees, and it's 3-0. 36 pitches already for Savino. He has gone 2 1/3 thus far after picking up for Liam Sullivan. 3-0 is going to be ball 4, I guess, just a little below the zone. I think that Troy thought it was in there. He stood in the box a little longer, so kind of polar opposite reactions from back-to-back Kettleer batters.
I was going to say, perhaps Troy just trying to compensate there, make sure that it was in fact a ball before taking his base.
Carter Trice will climb in. He's been great tonight. One of 2 Kettleers to be on base more than once. He's singled and walked. The other being Eddie Park, who has 2 singles. Count is 1-0 to Trice, the left fielder. He's had a great game, been on base twice, hasn't scored a run, but made that great catch to rob Brock Wilkin. And the reason the Kettleers are in the lead right now. This pitch misses low. Savino's control's been a little wobbly.
Yeah, 3rd straight at bat to open up the inning. He's fallen behind 2-0.
9 of his last 12 pitches have been balls. Here comes the 2-0 offering. That on the inside corner. Close pitch that time, but he will take the call. It's 2-1. Trice waggles the bat, puts it over his shoulder, brings it down. Some more waggling. He's got his left foot tapping in the right-hand side of the box, and the pitch. Thought about it. Did he go? Yes, says the first base umpire. We have seen a lot of check swings that have been called as confirmed swings. In that one especially, I don't know. It did not look to be even close, Tim, to the dismay of Trice.
Yeah, I mean, not sure what else really to say about it. Just been an interesting game in that sense.
2-2 is blasted, but foul off to the left. That thing had the legs. A bomb into the woods in foul territory. Carter Trice letting out a little frustration, getting his money's worth on that strike 2. Still 2-2 to him. I mean, he got all of that just way ahead of it.
Yeah, that was a tower out toward left. Not the first time we've seen a foul ball hit down the left field line that could have been a home run had it stayed fair.
2-2 is cut on and missed. Off speed at 73. Gets Trice. He goes down swinging. 3rd strikeout for Savino. And there's 2 away here with a runner on first in Troy.
Savino's been getting himself into these full counts, but he's been doing a good job of sealing the deal once he gets there. Of course, did walk Troy, but he's been able to strike out 2 batters on full count pitches here this inning. And so he's set himself up nicely here to be able to close out this inning with just allowing the 1 base runner. He's only faced 4 batters in his first 2.
This is ripped into left field. Rounding second and into third is Troy. The throw will come into second. Has to be cut off by Goodwin. So now runners at the corners with 2 out. Beautiful single from C.J. Kafis is second of the night. And now some disaster striking here for the Kettleers, or for the Mariners rather, as Tyler Johnson climbs into the box.
And of course, as I say, Savino's only faced as many as 4 in an inning here tonight. He's now set to face off against his 5th batter of the inning in Johnson.
Johnson is 0 for 3. Grounded out to first, popped up to second, and then hit a ball to the warning track that was caught by Seidel in the 5th. Again, the league leader in homers with 6. He also has 17 RBI, which is 2 off the league lead, hitting .305 on the season. He is a great cleanup hitter. 0-1 from Savino is lifted out to deep left field. Going back is Santucci at the warning track again. He hauls it in. Tyler Johnson has missed 2 home runs by a cumulative 10 feet. Gotta be frustrating, and the Kettleers are held in check. Time to stretch here at White House, 2-0 Kettleers. We head to the home half. You're watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
Tommy Seidel.
Tommy Seidel, Hunter Stokely, and Jonathan Santucci trying to get the Mariners on the scoreboard here as they've been held to just 1 hit. It's a call to the bullpen. Will Jacobson's night is over. He was sensational, went 3 innings, didn't allow a hit, run, or walk, struck out 4 and faced the minimum 9 batters. Tim, great day for him.
Yeah, I mean, just what a showing. That's exactly what you hope for every time you call a guy out of the bullpen. Just be able to come in, dominate a lineup, and allow absolutely nothing. Continue to squander their morale as Harwich has been sent back to the dugout 4 times in 1-2-3 fashion. And if you think back to that 4th inning, effectively 1-2-3 after Joe Vitrano was able to get that leadoff double as nothing was going in that frame for the Mariners. It's been a struggle here tonight, just 1 hit.
2-1 to Seidel. Cameron Wagner, the new wing. This is his 6th appearance. He's thrown 5 2/3 thus far, allowed 7 earned runs, 8 hits to 2 walks, 10 strikeouts as Seidel flies this one out to right. Coming in as Pearson, could be trouble, but he's got it in foul territory for out number 1. Seidel retired for the 3rd time today. 2nd time by the right fielder Pearson.
The DH from UNC.
Some more on
number
Wagner.
33, Hunter Stokely.
An 11.11 ERA, 1.76 WHIP, and .320 opponent batting average. So a guy that has not lit up the stat sheet as opposed to the two guys we've seen already for the Kettleers. And Mariners, who've been struggling tonight, really needed someone who's kind of had a tough go of it. As first pitch to Stokely is dropped in there at 80 miles an hour for strike one.
I mean, you have to think, if you're Harwich, that you're going to be able to jump on this guy in some way, shape, or form, but obviously not a great sign as Seidel is retired in the first batter seen by Wagner.
Stokely flies this out to right field. Pearson ranging over, and he's called off by the center fielder, Eddie Park, who pulls it in. In the gap, Hunter Stokely is retired again. He's 0 for 3 on the night.
Now batting for your Harwich Mariners,
just
the
again,
left fielder from
Harwich
Duke,
not putting up
number 12,
very much fight in these at-bats right now.
Santucci.
Just lazy fly balls to the outfield, easy fielding for Cotuit right now. And again, not one of the strongest defenses in the league. They have had some flashy plays here tonight, but Harwich has just been bitten by a bug here this evening at White House Field.
Wagner of Eastern Michigan, sports science major, native of Tecumseh, Michigan. So, it's 0-1 to Jonathan Santucci. He's 0 for 1 on the day. Walked in the third, came all the way over to third base, but couldn't be brought in. And a bases loaded third inning that the Mariners could not capitalize on, despite not having a hit, I'll add. And then he struck out in the fourth. Count is 1-1 to him. Pitch. Lackadaisical swing there from Santucci. It's 1-2.
Yeah, just really uncertain. He wanted to swing on it, and then by the time he realized it was too late to check it, just sort of lazily followed through as he's behind here.
1 ball, 2 strikes, the pitch. He fights it off over toward the Mariner pen. Carlson Reed, not quite that tall, tried to pull it in. As it went right over by Courtney Robinson, who is near the dugout. Luckily, she seems to be all smiles.
The line of fire down there.
Right next to the dugout as Santucci slaps this one out to center field, but won't be much trouble for Park as he's got that for his second put out of the inning, and the Mariners go in order for the 5th time in the ball game. 2-0 Kettleers. We head on to the 8th. You're watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
50 raffle ticket winners.
First pitch is fouled off to start things here in the 8th. Devin Dobek, Tim Foley along with you. Mariners trail by 2. Trotter Harlan leading things off. On the day, he's 1 for 3. Struck out in the first, singled and scored in the 4th out of the leadoff spot, and then grounded out to first back in the 6th. Call to the bullpen. Joe Savino's night is over. He went 3 complete innings, allowed 3 hits, no runs, walked 1, and struck out 3. It will be the Cincinnati Bearcat Garrett Harker, 6'0", 205 pounds, rising sophomore from Lebanon, Indiana. As he's behind in the count 2-1. And for Harker, his 5th appearance of this season, has a 3.00 ERA. Has not been nailed with any decisions. 6 completed innings. He has 8 strikeouts to 3 walks, and he's allowed 4 hits. A guy who's been with the Mariners the entire season, and still just 5 appearances. As he gets him swinging, Arndt has to fire down to first to get the out, and there's 1 away.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like we talk about this every time Harker comes into the game, but it's so tough sometimes for a reliever who doesn't see much action to stay ready, knowing that perhaps at any moment you could come in, but it's not entirely been likely for him all season long. He's had long stretches in between his outings, as opposed to some of the guys who have been here all season long as relievers. I mean, you talk about guys like Probst, Savino, Conover, guys who have upwards of 7, 8 appearances each already. Double that of Harker coming into today. So even in their situations, yes, you could come in at any given time, but it's a little more rhythmic. There's more of an expectation as to coming in every 2, 3, 4 games, as opposed to Harker. The shortest amount of time he's had between games is 4. Longest has been 7 games off in between outings.
3-0 to Eddie Park, who has singled twice and also grounded out to second. It's been a bit of an exception. Engler usually uses guys every 3 or 4 games, but Harker has been kind of kept on the back burner for a lot this season. 3-1. This is slapped foul off to the left and draws a flurry of children. 3-2.
Doesn't always have the longest outings either. Longest of the season was 2 complete. What I thought was the most interesting was back on July 3rd in that walloping that Brewster handed Harwich. Only pitched 15 pitches in a single inning.
Grounder to Brock Wilkin. He gathers, goes on to first just in time. Nice play by Brock Wilkin. Had to rush it, made it good. 2 away for Harker in the 8th.
Yeah, he just got that there in time. And I mean, that's tough to beat out a guy in Park, a guy with so much speed. But Wilkin, again, he's had a really nice arm over at third all season long. Haven't seen many throws over to first that Wilkin's been behind on. And so, very nice play by him, able to get that one onto the bag in time.
2 away for Calvin Harris. First pitch to him is swatted off to the left, but foul. Bat boy for the Mariners will haul it in, and thought about chucking it over the fence to a fan. That would have been something. He's going to hang on to it, as it's 0-2 now to Harris.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the Bat Boys are at liberty to start giving those away. Those are expensive.
He loaded up, almost took a crow hop, and then just tucked it like Tom Brady. As this is grounded over to Harrison, makes a backhand stab, fires across his body, won't be in time, gets away from Vetrano, but Arndt is there on the backup. Harrison almost made a great play there, but now Harker will have to throw some more pitches as there's a runner on first. Harris legs it out.
Yeah, really tough throw for Harrison to try to make to get Harris out over at first. Impressive. He was even able to get that thing in his glove and turn the throw, but ultimately Harris able to make it down to the bag, and we'll see how Harker responds with a man on first now.
This is fouled off. Make it 0-1.
Credit to Harker is that he's been getting ahead of guys. You know, and that really sets up the rest of your at-bat in such a huge way. Allows you to be selective with your pitches.
Pearson fouls off this one to make it 0-2. He's 1 for 3 on the day, singled back in the second. But then bunted one off himself and punched out in the sixth. 0-2 to Pearson. The pitch. This is lined up the middle for a base hit. Into second and staying there is Harris. The throw comes in, won't be in time. So back-to-back singles for the Cavaliers. They're now up to 10 hits, just 2 runs to show for it. But they're in business here for the 9-hitter Colby Wilkerson.
Number 27.
Yeah, Cotuit's left runners on in every single inning. 8 on the night, as it's been 1 every single inning, save for the 7th, in which they left 2 stranded. And now, of course, here they're going to be looking to drive some across. Going to need some good 2-out hitting here if you're Cotuit to be able to extend the inning and open up this lead. Still certainly a deficit you can come back from if you're Harwich within a single inning at that. Just a 2-run game.
0-1 to Wilkerson as he swung and missed at that one.
Cotuit on the season whenever they have runners in scoring position with 2 gone, batting 193. 29 RBI in such spots, 5 home runs. Wilkerson on the season, though. Pardon me, Devin. No home runs.
He got struck out back in the 7th when he thought he had ball 4. Had to come back to the batter's box, ended up going down swinging. 0-1. He chops it off the end of the bat, foul to the backstop. It's 0-2. Just 1 hit for the Mariner offense. They have just really not had anything going here tonight other than in that 3rd inning, but even not a hit in that inning. No balls, 2 strikes to Wilkerson. See if Harker can get him here. The pitch. This is flied into shallow left field. Long way for Santucci. Charges into foul territory and hauls it in. So the Cavaliers strand 2 more after back-to-back singles with 2 outs. We head to the bottom of the 8th. Groovin' time here at White House. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Brian Arndt, Kalai Harrison, and Nick Goodwin due up for the Mariners. They got some work to do. They trail by 2 here. And the bottom of the 8th inning, back out there is Cameron Wagner, who had a flawless 7th inning. 3 flyouts. As Arndt on the day is 0 for 1. He walked in 3rd and stung one to the shortstop in Troy in the 5th. He made a great play on it. As this one gets away from the catcher and Harris to make it 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been flawless across the board here from Cotuit this evening. Again, just the 1 hit from Brooks. Jacobson was stellar, and now Wagner's been locking it in.
Arndt rolls this one over to the 3rd baseman, Harlan. He goes on to first. It's over the bag. Arndt going to have to hold up there, but the Kettleer defense cracks for the first time. Harlan rushed it. He had plenty of time to make the play. Whips one about 3 feet over of Johnson's head. And so the Mariners will have a base runner here to start things. And I guess we'll call that kind of a makeup after Arndt stung one up the middle that Troy took away. As Harlan sells this one. And now a runner on first with nobody gone for Kalai Harrison.
I mean, a huge break. You can't afford to just have the first batter in the 8th inning here, down by 2, go down like that. So to have the man now on first and Arndt, such a huge boost to this offense to get a chance now and see if Harrison can't do anything extra to help set up the top of the order here.
It's 1-0 to start off Harrison. He's grounded out to 3rd and also struck out swinging.
So with that not counting as a hit, Mariners still do just have the 1 hit on the evening. They've been held to 1 hit just once this season. That was back in a 4-3 loss against Hyannis in the 2nd game of a doubleheader back here on June 19th. Surprising, the Mariners managed to score more runs back then, 3 that evening.
1-1 pitch, misses outside to make it 2-1. Harrison, the NC State Wolfpack product. In the left-hand side against the right-hand throwing Wagner. Swing and a miss that time to make it 2-2.
Helps when that 1 hit the Mariners had in that 4-3 loss was a 2-run shot from Brock Wilkin. It was a busy 5th inning where Mariners were walked twice. Batter was hit by a pitch, and then a fielder's choice helped to bring in Jake Geloff.
2-2 covering to Harrison. He lines it into left field. That's the 2nd hit of the ball game. Harrison doing his part there. And now something brewing here for Harwich in the late innings of the ball game. They got 2 on with nobody away.
You're just finding ways to pass it along here. Arndt and Harrison more than doing their job, being able to get both of them on. You now have the go-ahead run up to bat here, and Nick Goodwin with the top of the lineup due up in Goodwin, O'Donnell, and Wilkin. Huge opportunity here for Harwich to bust into this deficit and try to get back in this game.
Pinch running for your
Cole
Harwich
Harding
Mariners.
will come to
Number
pinch
10
run for
from
Arndt.
Cincinnati, Cole
So that would likely
Harding.
mean Matt Gussetti will be the catcher in the next inning. I don't think we're going to see Harding throwing on the pads.
Although, you know what? He's got enough personality, I think, to give it a shot.
And for Harrison, talk about learning your lesson. Struck out in the 5th inning on an up and away fastball. After a great at bat, this time he gets an up and away fastball, lines it right into left field, does his job. So there's going to be a mound visit. Harris elects for time, granted by Mike Hinojosa, and he'll jog out to the mound, talk things over with his pitcher in Wagner. Corners are in for the Kettleers. They, of course, always preparing rather, for the bunt attempt from Harwich. Middle infielders are in double play depth. Comes the first pitch to Goodwin. It's bounced in the dirt. Got him to swing, though, and it's 0-1.
Mariners trying to pull off something that they have yet to do this season. 0-13-1 when trailing after 7 innings. The one tie coming in a 4-4 tie at Chatham. Game they tied in the top of the 9th inning, but have yet to come away with 2 points when down after 7. Chance here with 2 on and nobody gone.
Ethan O'Donnell awaits on deck. Barring a triple play, he'll get an opportunity here. It's 0-1 to Goodwin, as that one skips outside, and it's 1-1. So here you go. Former Wareham Gateman, Cam Wagner, now Cotuit Cavalier on the mound, trying to get out of a jam. He did not get help from Harlan, who committed an error on a ground ball to himself to start the inning. As Goodwin flips this one up into the air, right by the pitcher's mound, Harlan comes in and pulls it in. Infield fly rule in effect, and that's out number 1.
Tough break, not what you want to see from the top of the order, as it was a struggle here today for Goodwin. Assuming he doesn't get another at-bat, not his greatest showing on the season, 0 for 3. Did get hit by a pitch back in the 3rd inning, contributed in a sense here today, but not his greatest day at the plate.
He's been hot and cold. We've seen him have 3 hits, 1 hit, no hits. It's been all over the charts. His average has dropped to 265 now. Ethan O'Donnell grounded out to the second baseman in his last at-bat. He's got another chance with a runner in scoring position. Let's see if he's able to capitalize this time. Brock Wilkin on deck for the Mariners. 2 on, 1 away. First pitch from Wagner is slapped foul off to the left. Actually might have caught the light pole again. Comes all the way back into the infield.
Second time today, 3rd time in 2 games. And I think at the very least here, if you're Harwich, if you're O'Donnell, your job is to make sure that Brock Wilkin comes up to bat. You cannot hit into a double play right now with 2 on, 1 gone, and end the inning, and then set up Wilkin to come up to bat with nobody on in the bottom of the 9th. You have to get him up in this situation with runners on. Give yourself to tie the game with the swing of a bat. At least tie the game, perhaps.
He does have speed going for him, so a ground ball, he could leg it out, but you don't even want to think that way. This count is 1-1 to him. It runs inside. Mariners being out hit 10-2. An error aside, a key one, as Harlan committed in the inning, which is why Cole Harding stands at second, pinch running for Brian Arndt. 1-1. There goes Harding. Hit and run in effect. Harrison also on the move. O'Donnell down in the count, 1-2.
I mean, I like that. Try to avoid any potential for a double play whatsoever. You get Harrison in motion early. Remove the potential to get him down at second if he's able to get down to the bag quickly enough.
It's a ball and 2 strikes. 2 on, 1 away. Here's the pitch to O'Donnell. He flies it over into the shallow infield grass. Johnson calling it. He puts it away. That's 2 straight infield pop-ups for the Mariners here, and there's 2 away.
Harwich Mariners, the 3rd baseman from Wake Forest, number 25.
Mariners are falling back into that funk they had. I talked about it a bit earlier in the broadcast where they get guys on early. Saw it happen in the 3rd inning. Got 2 on, nobody gone, and ultimately ended up leaving them loaded to end the inning. And now here you have another situation in which runners are on 1st and 2nd. Got them there with nobody out, and it was the 2 batters who you perhaps wouldn't expect it from. The bottom of the order, Arndt and Harrison, setting up the top of your order, and Goodwin and O'Donnell. Goodwin, you'd expect perhaps to do a bit more. O'Donnell, for what it's worth, he's still been trying to get into a rhythm here in Harwich. But again, at the very least, you've given it here to Brock Wilkin with 2 on base. So we'll see what happens here in this at-bat.
First pitch from Wagner to Wilkin is bounced in the dirt, gets away from the catcher. No advancement from Harding. Gives a little tilt of his head as if maybe I should have gone there, but he stays put. Good job by Harris to keep it in front of him. 1-0 to the former Cape Cod Baseball League MVP. trying to get some fireworks for the Mariners tonight. They trail 2-0. The pitch. That one runs upstairs and in. It's 2-0. Joe Vetrano on deck, 1 for 3 with a double. Currently a righty on righty matchup. Wilkin, the Wake Forest Demon Deacon, trying to extend the rally, get it to that cleanup hitter. 2-0 delivery to Wilkin. Bounced in the dirt, 3-0. I'm interested to see how aggressive Wagner is now. He's way behind him in the count. It's 3-0. Wilkin has made 2 good pieces of contact tonight. I don't think he's going to be looking to groove anything in the strike zone. Wouldn't be shocked if Wilkin has the green light. This one on the inside corner. Wilkin didn't love it. Took a step toward first base, but climbs back in. Three and 1 from Wagner. Here comes the offering. That one misses outside and loads up the bases. Brock Wilkin draws his team-high 12th walk to bring up Joe Vetrano, who is encouraged by a young fan to hit a home run. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, not a bad idea.
Joe Vetrano.
Mike Roberts will be drawn out of the dugout to talk things over with Wagner. We'll see what they decide to do. Doesn't appear anyone's ready in the Cotuit bullpen just yet. Well, Tim, here we are. Second bases loaded scenario for the Mariners in the ball game, in jeopardy of stranding their 5th, 6th, and 7th runners. Joe Vetrano, one of 2 Mariners with a hit. He's got a chance here. What do you think's going through his mind?
Don't overcomplicate it for yourself. Don't put any more pressure on yourself than you need to. I mean, Vetrano's one of the only Mariners who's found success at the plate here tonight with the double he's had back in the 4th, and he's been the hottest Mariner so far as of late. He's extended his on-base streak to now 17 games, Joe Vetrano. It's unbelievable what he's been able to do, getting on base at an incredible clip. And so for him, he just needs to be able to not look at this at-bat as being different as any other.
So 2 down for him. Here you go, Joe. Second on the team in RBIs with 14. 2 down here. Wagner kicks, fires. That one bounced in the dirt. Nice stop by Calvin Harris to not let that one get by. And if you recall, one of the runs, maybe even both of the runs that came in, were on pass ball or wild pitches, however you want to look at it. A couple that got away from Art, and that's where we stand at 2-0. Or actually, one of them was. The other was driven in on a hit. 1-0, got Vetrano. That hit him. He is in some pain. He's going to chuck the bat. Did his job. Throws it by the long end. Harding comes in to score, but a painful way to do it for Vetrano. And the Mariners are on the board.
Well, certainly going to have a shiner tomorrow. But you help out your team in a big spot, trying to maintain positioning in the division. I'm sure Vetrano is going to be able to reason with that one and be fine with taking the base.
So that will be the day for Wagner. He leaves the game with the bases loaded, call to the bullpen for Mike Roberts and the Kettleers. We'll take a quick break and bring you the new wing when we return. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
For your Harwich Mariners, the right fielder from Alabama, number 34.
Call to the bullpen,
Tommy
Cam
Seidel.
Shelke will climb up to the mound to replace Cam Wagner, who went 1 2/3, allowed 1 hit, 1 walk, and didn't get any strikeouts. Bit of a submarine delivery. That one gets way away. Nice stop by the catcher, Harris. And that inning all started with a Trotter Harlan error, so that run will be unearned. We'll see if the Mariners can tack on the one Cotuit mistake in this ball game. It's 2-1 after Joe Vitrano was hit by a pitch with the bases loaded. Tommy Seidel, the batter, and he is even in the count, 1-1. A tough strike call. That one gets all kind of moans and groans from the Harwich side of things. That looked to be up and away. It's kind of the funky sidearm delivery that makes it tough to judge how the ball came in. Of course, finishing high, a bit of a rising motion. 1-1. That breaking ball is below the knees. That one looked to be more of a strike than the first one. 69 on that off-speed pitch from Shelke. Tommy Seidel, a chance for some Mariner magic here in the 8th. 2-1. This is lined right at the first baseman, Johnson. Tommy Seidel connected, line out to first base. So, Shelke comes in and is able to get out of the jam with the bases loaded. Mariners do get 1 back. We head to the 9th, 2-1 Kettleers. You're watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Call to the bullpen. Harker's night is over. He went 1 inning, allowed 2 hits, no runs, no walks, and struck out 1. Drew Conover called to the bullpen. A 1.45 ERA to this point. That's second on the Mariners, behind just Zane Probst, who's at 1 right now. No recorded wins or losses. Does have 2 saves, second on the ball club in that statistic. 12 1/3 innings, he struck out 15 to just 1 walk and allowed 7 hits. But before we get back to the action, let's take you around the Cape Cod Baseball League scoreboard. Out in Yarmouth, Dennis, the Anglers storming back to take a 6-2 lead in the bottom of the 7th. Brewster on top of Bourne 2-0 in the bottom of the 7th at Bourne. Falmouth on top of Wareham 4-2 out at Arniel and Diamond in the bottom of the 7th. And Hyannis creaming the Firebirds 9-1 in the bottom of the 5th.
Leading off the 9th for the Kettleers, the shortstop from Stanford, number 12, Tommy Troy.
Top of the order for the Kettleers. They brought 6 batters to the plate in the 8th, or rather 5 batters to the plate in the 8th. Unable to get any runs. Looking for some insurance before we head to the bottom of the 9th. It's 1-0 from Conover. For Conover, this will be his 9th appearance. That is most on the team. He's picked up saves in each of his last 2 outings. And he's been great. Really just one bad outing, and it came back on July 3rd against Brewster. Gave up a couple runs, 3 hits, and a walk. But other than that, he's been lights out this season, Tim.
Yeah, not surprised to see them go to him here in this spot where you really cannot let this thing get away from you any more than it has. Not that it has all that much, as it's only a 1-run game.
This is popped up over to third. Brock Wilkin pitching a tent underneath it, and he's got it a few feet behind the bag for out number 1.
Yeah, routine fly ball, just the way you want to start off the inning here. Retire the leadoff batter in Troy, who's been a bit of a pain in your side here tonight.
Troy, a 350 hitter on the season coming into tonight. He's just been great. Carter Trice now will climb in. He's been on base twice. Walked and singled in the 3rd and 5th innings respectively. He's also flied out to right and struck out swinging. First pitch to him is run inside, and it's 1-0 from the Rutgers Scarlet Knight. Cotuit, just a 1-run lead here in the 9th, despite out hitting the Mariners 10-2. This is caught on and missed to make it 1-1. They've stranded a total of 10 base runners tonight, compared to the Mariner 7. 1-1. Checked his swing. Yes, he did, says Mike Hinojosa behind the plate. He's himself not even had to appeal. He's called like 3 or 4 swings behind home plate that have been checked.
He's been confident back there.
He's had a great night behind the plate. Hasn't been an easy one in some respects. 1-2. This is popped up over into shallow right field. Vetrano is called off by Goodwin. And it's a can of corn for him. Second out for the Mariners in the 9th.
And again, you're able to force fly ball. Easily playable if you're Harwich. And so what's important here is that you find a way to now get off the field with 2 outs and give it back to your offense come bottom of the 9th.
CJ Kafis will climb on in. He has singled twice, 2 for 4 on the night. Was stranded at third back in the 1st off that first single, and then singled in the 7th. He's also flied out to left and right. First pitch to him is caught on and missed. 95 from Conover on that one.
He's had some great velocity his past few showings. Really able to just huck it in there.
0-1. Catches the outside corner. 95 again. Painting the corner with that one. And now just a pitch away from picking up his first strikeout and going 1-2-3 in the 9th. Thrown 9 pitches, 6 have been strikes. The 0-2 misses up and away. And it's 1-2. 96 on that one. One of the hardest pitchers on the Mariner staff. Might even be the. 1-2. Swung on a miss. Conover gets him swinging. 94 on the put-away pitch. 1-2-3 go the Kettleers in order. Mariners looking for some magic as we head to the bottom of the 9th at White House Field. 2-1. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Bottom of the 9th inning, Cam Schulke is back on the hill for the Kettleers, set to face 6, 7, and 8 for the Mariners. Hunter Stokely will start it off here. He's 0 for 3 on the day. He's lined out to first, punched out, and flied out to center field. Submarine pitcher blows the first one by. Stokely pulled the string 81 miles an hour, and it fell off the table to make it 0-1. 0-1, chopped it off himself, got a piece of him to make it 0-2. Stokely quickly in the hole.
Yeah, I mean, interesting part of your lineup coming up here. Stokely, Santucci, and who is now going to be Gassetti, coming off of a nice night last night. So you're going to have to trust these guys to find a way to get it done after the top of the order couldn't back in the 8th.
Stokely had a chance to hit a sac fly in the 4th, but was unable to get the task. Goes down on 3 pitches. Second time he's been retired in 3 pitches tonight. 1 away for the Kettleers.
Harwich Mariners, the left fielder from Duke, number 12, Jonathan Santucci.
Jonathan Santucci will climb in. Kettleers searching for their first win against the Mariners, and it would complete the entire, I guess we'll call it, win against every team, as they've beat 8 of the 9 teams in the Cape Cod Baseball League one time or another. Harwich, the last one they need to complete that. First pitch to Santucci, misses down low, 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Harwich team that's going to give you some fight to the very end here. You do like having Santucci up, who's been great across this past few for you.
Pitch to him, chopped foul back to the backstop, 1-1. In the on-deck circle, grabbing a bat is going to be Press Kavanaugh. Matt Gassetti will not hit tonight after coming in to catch. That's now been 4 lineup changes in that 8 spot. 1-1. Down below the knees, make it 2-1. Arndt started the game and caught. Cole Harding came in to pinch run for him, actually scored. Matt Gassetti came in to play defense, and now Press Kavanaugh grabs a bat and he will hit. 2-1. Santucci slaps it into left field, going back, a misread, but pulled in by Carter Trice. He came charging in and then had to hold up, hit the brakes, and go backwards, as he did not get a great look at that ball on a line drive from Santucci, and it's out number 2.
Just narrowly able to catch a break and get one over the head of Trice out in left field, but he's able to course correct at the last possible moment, and he makes things look that much more dire here now for the Mariners. I do like the move going to Kavanaugh here in this spot. Gassetti for the good night that he had last night. Kavanaugh, Coach Englert, a guy who has a lot of trust in Kavanaugh as a hitter, knows what he did last year, knows he has what it takes in order to help out his team in this spot.
Better matchup-wise as well, and if he can get on, better speed-wise. So, great move by Englert. See if Kavanaugh can make him look good. It's 2-0. He's ahead in the count. Kavanaugh on the season comes in hitting 173. That's 8 for 46. Pair of RBIs. 2-0. Misses down low. Hinojosa's zone has tightened up. 3 balls, no strikes now to Kavanaugh. Kalai Harrison, the 9-hitter, awaits on deck. The pitch. That one catches the inside corner and make it 3-1. Press hit .333 last season. Coach Englert thinks that he can make something happen here. He rolls this one over to second. This could be the ball game. Wilkerson's got it, goes to first, and the Kettleers pull off a win here at White House. 2-1 the final score. We'll break that down for you in the Harwich Mariners post-game show on the other side of the break. You're watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome into the Harwich Mariners post-game show. Mariners fall 2-1. They get out hit 10-2, and they ended up leaving 7 runners on base. Despite only having 2 hits, they had a couple bases loaded opportunities, most notably coming in the 3rd and the 8th. A lot of opportunities. Situational hitting wasn't there, and Cotuit came to play. Great defense from them tonight. Just a tough one for the Mariners, and they got to move on.
Yeah, really interesting to see them fall back into that sort of off rhythm that they had toward the end of June, despite what's otherwise been a very hot month of July. You have to hope if you're Harwich, this isn't the start of a downtrend as a team. I mean, you still got excellent pitching here today. Ultimately only gave up the 2 runs across a full 9 innings. Did allow 10 hits on the day, but some great situational defense from the Mariners helped them to get out of a couple of jams. And so just the bats weren't able to put this together here. Left plenty stranded. The bases loaded twice. That's always going to hurt you. It did here tonight. And so, as you put it, Devin, just need to lick your wounds and move on to Chatham tomorrow, a game that you really cannot stand to drop.
And a big stage as well. That game will be on Nesson at 7 o'clock from Veterans Field. Should be a good one if you're able to tune in. As final box score here, 2 runs for the Kettleers on 10 hits and 1 error. 1 run for the Mariners on 2 hits and an error. Winning pitcher is Will Jacobson. The loss goes to Liam Sullivan. Cam Schulke picks up the save for the Kettleers. They pick up their first win against the Mariners all season. They've now beaten every team in the Cape Cod Baseball League, and one they desperately needed. The Mariners had taken 5 of 6 points in the 3 games thus far, and in the series finale, they're able to come away victorious on the road. So, Tim, any final thoughts before the battle with Chatham tomorrow?
No, just find a way to get the bats going once again as you had them earlier in the month. Baseball is a game where players and teams are streaky at times. It's understood that Harwich this season has been a streaky team, and so it remains to be seen whether or not they'll be able to jump back into the right mindset tomorrow night at Chatham.
Mariners have had just 6 hits in the last 18 innings, 1 run to show for that. But that will do it for us here in Al Graber Press Box. On behalf of the entire media team, my partner Tim Foley and myself, Devin Dobek, thank you so much for joining us on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. And always remember to live the dream.